doors to the house and prepare this room. I'll conduct my inquiries within here afterwards.
Any ideas on the cause of death, Inspector?
Could be any number of things. Suffocation, strangulation, poison. Before getting to the bottom of this, I wouldn't like to say.
How could someone do it?
Try not to think about it, Miss Claymore. As soon as I finish upstairs, I shall speak to each of you individually. And then perhaps you can... You can have some space to calm your nerves. I shall return presently as soon as I've finished examining the body.
Thank heavens they've all gone. Thank heavens. Thank heavens they've all gone.
Don't say a word. If they find out about us, we'll be suspects.
You and I were having an affair. What of it? It's not like we killed him.
Of course not, but that's what the inspector will think.
It's fine. We'll just carry on as if everything's just as it was. Except now you won't be forced to marry my beastly brother.
And soon, we can be together and keep no secrets.
But please, while we're here, just let me steal one quick kiss.
What on earth is going on in here?
I was feeling flustered and Cecil was cooling my brow.
Just cooling her brow.
I don't see how my sister's brow is any of your business, Haversham.
Don't be a prick, Tom. He was only trying to help.
Yes, Tom.
Very well. Now I have the pencil.
Thank heavens he's gone. That man's such a nuisance.
He is my brother.
Let me kiss you, just once.
Oh, Cecil.
Sorry to interrupt, Mr. Haversham, Miss Collymore. I've come to collect the keys to lock us all inside.
They're by the telephone, Perkins.
I shall lock these doors at once.
You don't think Perkins suspects us, do you?
That's old fool. Of course not.
Oh, Cecil, my love makes me forget myself.
I forgot the inspector's notepad. What is going on in here?
I was about to faint, and Cecil caught me.
You know, Cecil, I don't appreciate you trying to get your hands on my sister on the night of her fiancé's death.
Well, maybe you ought to take better care of her then, Collymore.
I'm overcome.
I haven't had time for this. Now I have the inspector's notepad. I'll be on my way.
Blast interruptions.
Kiss me, Cecil.
I want you, Florence. You make my heart beat out of its chest.
Your eyes sent me into a dream. Kiss me, Cecil. I'm all yours.
Sorry to interrupt again, Mr. Haversham, Miss Collymore. I've come to prepare the room.
Thank you, Perkins. Put them on the mantelpiece. At last, we're alone.
Cecil, let's run far away from here, together.
Soon, my love, but we mustn't arouse suspicion.
Tell me, Cecil, who do you think killed Charles?
There's no question about it. He was killed by your brother, Thomas Collymore.
My brother? What a devilish situation this is.
Not so fast, Inspector!
But if it was my brother, why would he want Charles dead?
He was always bitter and possessive when it came to you. He didn't like the idea of his brother marrying his best friend. He saw you together tonight's engagement party and it drove him mad. And he snapped and killed Charles.
But if he did kill Charles, what does that mean for you and I?
Don't think there's any doubt about it. If he found out about us, hang.
I feel faint again.
Don't worry, Florence. Follow my lead.
Sorry for the wait, but now that I have finished upstairs, I'm ready to begin my inquiries. If you'd be so kind as to bring in his effects. Oh, there they are. Put them down on the mantel. Peace. Don't go, Perkins. Before you leave, I'd like to ask you a couple questions. Mr. Haversham, Miss Collymore, if you'd be so kind as to leave us be. Don't just stand there, Perkins. Take a seat. How are you feeling?
A little shaken, sir, but I'll be fine.
Yes. You were close with Charles Haversham?
Yes, sir, very close.
You don't appear very upset by his death.
Oh, on the contrary, me and Charles were very close.
You know, I heard that he was a kind and honorable man. I suppose it's true.
Oh, you met him?
Ah, yes, once, briefly, at the local police station. He worked as a consultant on a fraud case I was working on.
I see.
How long have you been serving at Haversham Manor?
80 years.
80 years?
80 years.
8 years! And have you enjoyed your time here?
My time with the Havershams has been but a joy. I feel that since I've come here, I've been seen as more than just a butler, but as a friend, a confidant. If you'll need me, I'll be in my quarters. Exits.
Exits!
Exits.
And if you'd be so kind as to bring in Florence Collymore on your way out?
No need. I'm already here. Don't ask too much. I'm fragile as glass.
Don't harass her, Carter. She's been through a lot tonight.
Collymore, at last you've found me a pencil?
Yes, Inspector.
Thank you. And my notepad? I knew I left them somewhere. Now, if you'd please leave us be, I'd like to ask her a couple questions.
Very well. I'll be in the library, Florence.
Don't worry, Miss Collymore. My questions shall be brief and to the point, and then you can have some space to calm your nerves. Firstly, how old are you?
21.
I'll make a note of that. When did you meet Charles?
7 months ago, but my brother has known him for years.
When were you due to be married?
In the new year.
Yeah. Okay, I believe that's enough notes for now, Miss Collymore. Did you ever...
When you love someone, there's no such thing as rushing, Inspector!
Did you ever feel like you were rushing into this marriage?
Why wouldn't I love him?
Did you love him?
How could anyone have benefited?
Can you think of anyone that might have benefited from his death?
Cecil?
Not even Cecil?
Don't tell me to calm down!
Calm down, Miss Collymore!
Don't raise your voice at me, Inspector! I wasn't having an affair!
You were having an affair!
What letter?
Then how do you explain the letter on the mantelpiece?
I didn't write that letter!
You wrote that letter!
You read my letter? Where did you find it?
Addressed to Cecil. Addressed to Cecil. Written in your handwriting, declaring your love for him and how the thought of marrying Charles repulsed you.
Charles read it?
You read my letter? Wherever did you find it? In Charles's pocket.
Charles read it? Then it was suicide.
Or murder. Conceived by you and Cecil Haversham so that the two of you could run away together.
How could you say such a thing? It's true. Cecil and I were having an affair, but we wouldn't want to hurt Charles, let alone kill him.
It is my job to ask difficult questions, Miss Collymore. I'm sorry if this upsets you.
Upsets me. My fiancé was murdered in this very room a matter of hours ago. I find your matter most unbefitting, and I shall make a formal complaint to Scotland Yard.
Scotland Yard will not listen to the complaints of a murderess.
You diabolical beast, how can you? I won't stand for this. Make an accusation like that, and you'll be sorry.
What's all this shouting?
What is this, Inspector? Stoop!
I was merely interviewing Miss Collymore, nothing more.
Florence, calm down, stop shouting.
She's having one of her episodes. Snap out of it! You're being hysterical.
Florence, where are you going?
Come back here this instant. She's run off. I'll fetch her back. You stay here, Cecil. I dare say the inspector has some questions for you. You were Charles's brother, after all.
I'm sorry, Inspector. She's badly shaken. We all are. It's been quite a night, and it's getting late.
11 o'clock already.
Well, do you have any questions for me?
Oh, yes, Mr. Haversham. Similar questions to those asked Miss Collymore.
Fire away, Inspector. I'm at your service.
Indeed. You and your brother. Did you get along well?
Up and down. Ever since Father died, there's been rather more strain in our relationship.
That is your father in the portrait, is it not?
Is.
He looks the spit of Charles, doesn't he?
Did ever since he was quite young, yes.
You were the junior by 4 years?
Almost 4, yes, and didn't I know it? Charles patronized and embarrassed me at every turn throughout our childhood. If he ever didn't get what he wanted, he was unbearable.
He sounds far from the ideal brother. It sounds like you two hated one another.
I won't lie, Inspector. Charles and I never truly saw eye to eye. But if you're suggesting I had something to do with Charles's murder, then you're sorely mistaken.
I see. It's a dark night, Cecil.
Inspector?
Up! You can barely make out the trees.
What are you saying, Inspector?
I'm saying, Cecil, that tonight would be the perfect night for you to murder your brother.
Inspector, please! Charles and I had our differences, but deep down we cared for one another.
I doubt you had an affair with his fiancée.
What on earth gave you that idea?
The letter I found in Charles's pocket from Miss Collymore to yourself.
You know about that?
As it seems, did Charles.
Well, bravo, Inspector. Very good. You found out about Florence and I, but it proves nothing. We didn't have a thing to do with Charles's murder, but I can tell you who does.
Who?
Thomas Collymore.
Collymore? But he and Charles were old school friends, were they not?
He's a dangerous and unhinged man with a devil of a temper, and Florence is his sister. I've said it before, and I shall say it again. He couldn't give up his sister to any man, much less his old school chum. He saw them together at tonight's engagement party, and it drove him mad, and he snapped and killed Charles. A crime of passion, perhaps, but there it is.
Thank you, Cecil. You've been most helpful. Perhaps you can fetch Thomas Collymore on your way out. I'll have to file more than one line of inquiry to get to the bottom of this.
Anything to help with the progress of your investigation, Inspector.
Hang it all, Charles. Who could have killed you? Everyone under this darned roof seems guilty. But what's this? Under the sheets. A ledger. A ledger? A ledger? There's no ledger. Where is it? The ledger? Oh. A letter with Charles's initials scribbled on the outside. Why, what's inside? Notes, letters, bills? What's this? The last will and testament of Charles Haversham, dated only today. Let me see. I, Charles Haversham, hereby admit Haversham Manor, all its contents, and all my money to one... Good Lord.
Thomas Collymore for you, Inspector.
Ah, thank you, Cecil. Tell me, did Charles have a study where he kept all his papers?
Of course. Second door on the right.
I'll be back presently.
Take your time.
Indeed.
Did you find her?
She ran out into the grounds.
Tell me, Thomas, what did you think of Charles and Florence's engagement?
I was overjoyed, of course. I love Florence and I love Charles. I couldn't have approved more of the match.
But Collymore, it's well known you're very protective of your sister. I'll get it. It's for you.
Who the devil is it?
Your accountant's Collymore.
At 11:30 in the evening.
Yes.
This is Thomas Collymore speaking.
It is inconvenient, yes.
My recent deposits? What of them? Discrepancies. What are you talking about, man? Gone? Gone where? 9,000 pounds stolen? Why? Perkins, get in here!
Yes.
Perkins, fetch me my bank book.
One moment. Your bank book, sir. Mustn't forget the pen.
Thank you, Perkins. This is an absolute disgrace. I shall report you to my superiors. Who am I speaking with? Mr. Fitzroy. I shall write that name down. Fitzroy. I'll have you know that this phone call has put me in a very difficult position. I shall hang up this instant.
What is it, Collymore?
Money stolen from my accounts.
Good grief.
9,000 pounds stolen from my private savings.
Most irregular.
What a ghastly business. First, my oldest friend is murdered in cold blood, and now I find myself on the edge of financial ruin. This night could get no worse.
Thomas, I have a confession to make. I originally wasn't going to say it, but the inspector seems to have found out, and blasted, I'm tired of keeping secrets.
Well, spit it out, Cecil.
Florence and I were having an affair.
What? You and my sister?
Now, calm down, Collymore.
I knew it. I always knew you were a snake in the grass.
It's not what you think. Florence and I were in love.
My sister does not love you. How dare you lay a finger on her? Your own brother's fiancée. It's disgusting. No wonder your father hated you.
Don't you dare! Don't you dare speak about my father that way.
Well, it seems that there's no doubt on who killed Charles Haversham. He was murdered by his own vile little brother in a fit of jealous rage.
I shan't stand for this, Collymore. I shan't stand for this.
You'll be sorry you ever laid a finger on my sister, Haversham. You'll be sorry. Gunshots in the library!
I don't!
Dear me, what's going on?
I don't know. I was in here when I heard shots from downstairs.
Come in here, Florence. It's not safe down here.
Thomas, I'm frightened.
Don't worry, Florence. You're safe in here.
What's going on?
Isn't it obvious? Cecil has lost control.
Castle? Surely not.
He's gone mad, driven mad by his lust for you, and now he knows we found him out.
I cannot bear it. Castle would not do such a thing.
Of course he would. That dang lunatic.
You used to trust people, Tom. You've changed.
Try to stay calm, Miss Collymore.
I shall faint.
You shan't faint, confound it! Oh, what a devil of a situation this is.
Not so fast, Inspector.
We're all going to survive tonight. You hear me?
Here it comes. Take cover.
Great Scott!
Good heavens!
Aye, me!
Be careful. Cecil is crossing the landing.
We must lock him out.
Where are the keys to the door, Perkins?
There they are.
Quickly, lock the doors before Cecil comes through. Oh my!
Cecil's dead.
A double murder!
I found the Justin Bieber. Carry on.
Time of death, 1:45.
Cecil? No! No, no, no! I loved him. I loved him. I know it's wrong. I know I was engaged to Charles, but Cecil was mine, and I was his. I loved him.
There, Miss Collymore.
Through tears. How shall I go on?
But who could have killed him?
That's a good question, Mr. Collymore.
And one we need to answer quickly if we are to leave this house alive.
Oh, Inspector, you've given me a chill.
Now tell me, is there anyone else still in the grounds other than the four of us?
Not a soul.
The staff all go home for the weekends, except for Perkins, of course.
Does anyone have access to the grounds?
No one, Inspector.
I'm the only one with the master key, and as I was instructed, I locked and bolted every door as soon as you arrived.
Then who could have killed him?
That's a good question, Mr. Collymore.
And one we need to answer quickly if we are to get out of this house alive.
Oh, Inspector, you've given me a chill.
Now tell me, is there anyone still in the grounds other than the four of us?
Not a soul.
The staff all go home for the weekends, except for Perkins, of course.
Does anyone have access to the grounds?
No one, Inspector.
I'm the only one with the master key, and as I was instructed, I locked and bolted every door as soon as you arrived.
Then who could have killed him?
That's a good question, Mr. Collymore.
And one we need to answer quickly if we are to get out of this house alive.
Oh, Inspector, you've given me a chill.
Now tell me, is there anyone still in the grounds other than the four of us?
Not a soul.
The staff all go home for the weekends, except for Perkins, of course.
Does anyone have access to the ground?
No one, Inspector.
I'm the only one with the master key, and as I was instructed, I locked and bolted every door as soon as you arrived.
Then who could have killed him?
That's a good question, Mr. Collymore.
And one we need to answer quickly if we are to get out of this house alive.
Oh, Inspector, you've given me a chill.
Now, is there anyone still in the grounds other than the four of us?
Not a soul.
The staff all go home for the weekends, except for Perkins, of course.
Does anyone have access to the grounds?
No one, Inspector.
I'm the only one with the master key, and as I was instructed, I locked and bolted every door as soon as you arrived.
Then who could have killed him?
No one could have killed him, except for the people in this very room.
He's right. It's one of us.
Hang it all! I'm trapped in a room full of murderers.
Bang and blast!
One of you killed Cecil and Charles Haversham, and none shall leave until we have solved the matter. You, take the body outside.
Yes, Inspector.
I'll lend you a hand, Perkins.
Now then, let us go over the facts.
Oh, it's such a terrible night.
Florence, you were due to be married to Charles, a man who, according to your letter, which said that you despised him. Not only this, but you were having an affair with his brother Cecil. Cecil. It appears to me that you murdered him so that the two of you could run away together.
Oh, stop it, Inspector. Cecil's dead now, too, and I certainly didn't kill...
What's going on, Inspector?
You're lying, Florence. You killed him.
She's having one of her hysterical episodes.
Calm down, Miss Collymore.
Florence, remember yourself with some decorum, please.
Someone ought to fetch her medication.
I'll go. Good God, someone's locked the door. We're trapped.
Trapped. By God. You're lying, Florence. You killed him.
I'm an honorable woman, Inspector.
You're lying, Florence. You killed him.
How dare you? I can't stand under the second of this, Inspector. You're all beasts.
Did you enjoy killing your husband, Miss Collymore?
How dare you make such an accusation, Inspector?
Calm down, Florence, really.
I can't stand another second of this, Inspector. If I can't go out the door, then I shall descend from the window.
Oh, no, she's trying to go from the window. Cecil both have plausible motives for murder, but not a true motive.
What do you mean by that, Inspector?
I mean that the true motive belongs to Perkins.
Me, Inspector?
You, Perkins. A little earlier, I stumbled across Charles's last will and testament declaring Perkins the sole beneficiary of his inheritance.
This must be some sort of mistake.
Save your yapping for the police station. Cuff him, Thomas. I shall escort you to the police station myself once this darn snowstorm has passed.
But that won't be for hours, and the snow's at its peak.
It's not true, I tell you.
Surely he didn't kill Cecil as well.
Of course you did. Cecil found him out and Perkins killed him to keep him quiet.
This must be some sort of misunderstanding. I haven't killed anyone. But I know who has.
You know who killed Charles.
I do.
Who?
The Inspector did!
What on earth?
Poppycock.
You did it, and I know why.
Shut your mouth, Perkins.
You did it because Charles knew about the police money you were embezzling.
It's not true.
You mentioned you had several rendezvous with Charles before at a local police station. You said he was a consultant on a fraud case you were working on.
What of it?
Well, Charles came home that evening very intrigued by the whole thing. He decided to take a look into the matter personally. He found why no arrests have been made were because the one committing the fraud was yourself. You were the embezzler, the perpetrator. You were the perpetrator.
It's not true. You can't prove this.
But Charles could, and that's why you killed him.
Never.
What are you gonna do? Kill me too?
You know what? I shall. Confound it!
What a devil of a situation this is!
Not so fast, Inspector! Charles?
Mr. Haversham,
Charlie, I thought you were dead.
you're alive, but it's not possible.
Oh, I'm afraid it is. You couldn't kill me that easily.
How did you survive?
I simply didn't drink the poison water you left out for me this afternoon.
How did you know it was me?
I told Perkins! We've been working together all along. Ever since we met at the police station, it was clear you thought I was onto you. It was at that point I became afraid you tried to kill me. I've had my guard up for months now, and tonight, you fell into my trap.
You've been hiding in the grounds ever since this afternoon when you planted the poison.
I thought it was strange you got here so quickly in such terrible weather.
And then you found Charles' will and ledger, and you tried to pin the whole thing on me.
You dang crafty devil!
Crafty indeed. Perkins here is as innocent as I am. Remove these handcuffs this instant. Drop the gun, Inspector.
Me!
Never! I came here to kill you, Charles, and I shan't leave until the job is done.
It's over, Inspector. I can prove your guilt in a second. I have the evidence in my study. Perkins? Fetch the papers, Perkins.
Yes, sir.
Lower your weapon, Inspector.
Please, Inspector! You're frightening me!
You ought to be frightened.
You monster! You tried to kill... You monster! You tried to kill Charles, but you killed Cecil. How could you?
I'll admit I tried to kill Charles, but I went nowhere near Cecil. In fact, when I heard that the two of you were having an affair, I was overjoyed. I had the perfect man to pin it on, until my accomplice blundered in.
It's true, and your accomplice, I regret to say, has been my friend ever since we were in school. Isn't that right, Thomas Collymore?
It's true. I'm the inspector's accomplice. I helped him move the money.
Brother, I'm surprised. Brother, I'm surprised at you. I don't know what you've become.
I'm so ashamed. When I met Inspector Carter a few months ago down at my club, we found out between us that we could steal the money from the police's sundry accounts easily. Carter had the access and I had the facility to move the money fast and keep it secure. Or so I thought, until tonight. Line!
I don't know what page we're on, mate.
I don't know what page we're on, mate.
As for Cecil,
As for Cecil, it was more of a crime of passion. Simple as that.
Cecil, but I loved him. He was my only. Cecil, but I loved him. He was my only.
Your papers, Mr. Haversham?
Thank you, Perkins. Now, in my hand, I hold a list of every fraudulent transaction Inspector Carter and Thomas Collymore made.
This can't be true. I won't believe. This can't be true. I won't believe it. I can't believe it.
No, but it is true. When I found out he was interfering with you, Florence, my own sister, well, it was more than I could bear.
Your soul did a fair sicken me, Florence. You broke my heart.
No, Charlie, you mustn't. No, Charlie, you mustn't. I made a mistake. Take me back. I'm all yours all over again.
Take back the woman who has betrayed me? Never. Oh.
Please, you're all I have. Love me. Don't cast me aside. I shall be an outcast in the town. My friends shan't speak to me. Never again shall I feel your embrace. Let me be your wife.
Fetch the door, Perkins.
Why, of course.
That will be the police to arrest you both.
Please, Charlie, I can't bear this another second. Oh, please, Charlie, I can't bear this another second. Look at me, like how you used to look at me.
Silence, Florence. You are nothing to me now.
This is the worst night of my life.
No. This is the worst night of my life.
No. It is the worst night of mine. But Thomas, Carter had you fooled, didn't he?
What do you mean?
He never intended to share the money with you. Let me summarize.
I love you, Charlie.
Inspector Carter found out and knew that I had discovered you and he were both embezzling police money. So you hatched a plan too.
I've still got the ring, Charlie. We can make it work.
So you hatched a plan to try to kill me, planting poison water for me to drink, then mistakenly believing I was dead. Inspector Carter tried to pin my murder on Cecil and Florence because of their affair, until your accomplice Thomas blundered in and shot my brother Cecil. It was at that point Inspector Carter tried to pin my murder on Perkins after finding my will in the ledger. Except,
I love you, Charlie. And take me if you know what's good for you.
except what you didn't know, Thomas, was that the inspector made a £9,000 withdrawal this morning. And after finding the money, or planning to flee, taking every penny. I think it's time to open your attaché case, Inspector.
The £9,000!
He allowed you to take all the risks by storing the stolen money in your private accounts. Isn't that right, Inspector?
all right, it's true. I forged your signature at the bank and took out every penny, but I hadn't accounted for your accountant catching on so quickly.
You rogue! I trusted you, Carter. I'm afraid it's your last mistake you will ever make. Oh, my fingers!
The officer's waiting for you. That'll be the officers waiting for you in the hall, sir.
Thank you, Perkins. If you could escort my fiancée.
Why, of course.
Thomas, you're not the man I knew from Eton. You become greedy and jealous.
I'm sorry, Charles, but I feel as though I'm about to pass out.
There's a glass of water right here.
Oh, ever the kind host.
Drink it up.
Ever the kind host.
Tell me one thing, Thomas.
Anything, Charles, I shall tell no more lies.
The water you left out for me this afternoon, what do you suppose I did with it?
Well, I don't know. What do you mean? You don't mean you... Oh, Charles, no.
Oh, how I wish this could have ended differently. Thomas, your lies and deceits have left you inexorably to this end. If men allow their conscience to be governed by avarice, then death and destruction shall prevail. Betrayed by my brother. Cuckolded by my fiancée. Let us hope we never again see a murder at Haversham Manor.
Hmm?